uh, there are a few mathematical operators. One of those operators that we talked about in the last class. Okay, what else do you think we might want to do? Okay, so another mathematical operator is A star B. Okay, multiplication. Minus B. Okay, B divided by A. Okay, even if the answer of B divided by A is going to be an integer, okay, it still assumes most likely answer is going to be a, when you're dividing two numbers, even if they are integers, most likely answer is going to be a float. So Python gives float as the answer. Okay, but let us say, let me make C as 2. There is another integer division that is available in Python which you can do, which is B double slash C. Okay, this is a forward slash. If you don't know the name of this symbol, जो divide वाला symbol है, if you look at your keyboard में कोई divide का symbol नहीं होता. Okay, keyboards don't have the division symbol. Okay, this slash is used for division. Okay, forward slash, backslash Python में यूज़ नहीं होता. होता है? I don't think so. Okay, एक बैकस्लैश भी होता है. फॉरवर्ड स्लैश क्वेश्चन मार्क के नीचे होता है. ओके, इफ़ यू लुक एट योर कीबोर्ड, फुल स्टॉप के बाद क्वेश्चन मार्क होता है, क्वेश्चन मार्क के नीचे फॉरवर्ड स्लैश होता है. ओके, बट जो नीचे वाली चीज़ होती है उसके लिए शिफ्ट नहीं दबाना पड़ता. ओके, सो यू जस्ट प्रेस द स्लैश. ओके, एंड सो डबल स्लैश कहाँ है हमारा, किससे पूछूं? या व्हाट्स योर नेम? ब्लू शर्ट. या आयुष, व्हाट डू यू थिंक डबल स्लैश इज डूइंग? आई टोल्ड यू द डेफिनेशन ऑफ इट, इट्स कॉल्ड एज इंटीजर डिवीजन. व्हाट इज इट डूइंग? क्या कर रहा है वो? सी की वैल्यू देखो. व्हाट इज सी? 2. व्हाट इज बी? 5. ओके, सो बी डबल स्लैश सी इज गिविंग यू 2. व्हाट डू यू थिंक इज द ऑपरेशन दैट डबल स्लैश इज डूइंग? क्या कर रहे हो? अच्छा, ग्रेटेस्ट इंटीजर आफ्टर डिविजन. यू आर राइट. ओके, सो इट डिवाइड्स द नंबर एंड देन does what? Removes the decimal part of it. Okay, another way of doing the same thing would be that you can do an int. What does int do? Int converts from string to an integer or a float to an integer. It also does a float conversion as well. Okay, so if I do b divided by c, what is this going to give me? b divided by c का आंसर क्या होगा? 2.5. ठीक है ना? b divided by c is going to be 2.5. If you take an integer of that, again integer does not do a rounding off. Okay, it doesn't do rounding off. It only gets rid of the decimal part. Okay, so b double slash c is the same as int of b slash c. Okay, another function that is present on numbers in Python is called as the mod function. Okay, which is defined as, which is denoted by a percentage symbol. Okay, so if I do b percent c, so mod function क्या करता है? डिवाइड करता है, और डिवाइड के बाद जो रिमाइंडर बचता है, normal long form division if you do, the remainder that remains is the mod. Okay, so b divided by c, what should be the answer here? 1. 5 divided by 2 is going to be 2 and remainder is 1. So the answer is, this is going to be 1. Okay, so now which of these operators, so I have mentioned plus, minus, multiply, divide, double divide and percent, mod. Okay, which of these is overloaded with strings, means can also operate on strings? Any idea? Addition कर सकता है, that we talked about last class. Subtraction का कोई value होगी? Okay, subtraction, और अगर तुम दो strings को subtract करने की कोशिश करोगे, it's going to give you an error. Okay, you can't do that. You can try. This is your homework exercise. एक homework exercise दी थी मैंने यहाँ. What was that? to go and check, figure it out. There was something I remember. एक छोटा सा एक फंक्शन था कोई int of 10.5 वो हमने कर ही लिया, ठीक है. int of so 0.5 में obviously there is an ambiguity, but let us say if I do 6.6, okay, there is no ambiguity of what the rounding off value of 6.6 is going to be. Okay, 6.6 rounded off is definitely 7. Okay, irrespective of whichever definition you choose, 6.6 rounded off is going to be 7. So what do you think is the answer of this going to be? 6. It doesn't round off. Okay, it just gets rid of the decimal portion. Okay, so even if this were, it will still be 6. Okay, any questions? Nope. Okay, there is another mathematical operator that is overloaded with strings, but it is overloaded only when one of the other arguments is an integer. Okay, that operator is multiplication, star. Okay, so if I do a star 3, what do you think is going to be? A concatenated 3 times. Okay, so it's a, what is 2 multiplied by 3? It is the same as 2 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so from there you can think of it. Okay, so a star 3 is a plus a plus a. All these 3 a's are strings. So a string plus string plus string is going to concatenate all 3 of them. So that's what is happening over here. Okay, any questions? Nope. Okay, what else? Now let us talk about, so these are the mathematical operations that you can usually perform. Now if you were to try to do something which applies certain logic, in अभी तक जितने भी हमने programs लिखे हैं, ज़्यादा नहीं लिखे, 1-2 लिखे हैं, in those we are giving the full starting to end the full recipe. Okay, obviously in every we give the recipe, but there is no choice that the computer is doing. Okay, there is no decisions are being made by the computer. Okay, computer can also make decisions based on what you do. For example, when you open your computer, you try to write something in Word. Let me do that. Okay, I created a document. Now I'll close this. Okay, I'm closing this program. Now it is giving you an option. Okay, so now a choice is being made by the program based on your input. Okay, based on your input, a choice is going to be made by the program. What are the various choices that you are given? One of the choices is that you can give a file name and you can save your file. Another choice is cancel. What is cancel going to do? It is going to stop this particular procedure and go back to Word. The third option, the leftmost option is delete. What is delete going to do? It is going to delete whatever I have written and close the program. Okay, so there are choices being made by your program. Okay, in this case Microsoft Word. Similarly, you can write programs which can make choices based on how you program it. Okay, how can you make those choices? That particular statement is called as if else statement. Okay, if else. So if you have done any other programming language, for example Java or C++, all of them use brackets to denote blocks of code. Okay, in this case it is a little unusual as compared to almost any other language in the world, where white space is used as a block of code. Okay, white space is used. So for example, let us say I want to figure out whether the number A is bigger or B is bigger, and my output should be that A is bigger than B. I should print out A is bigger than B, or I should print out B is bigger than A. Let us say I want to figure that out. Okay, so instead of using the board, let me just Okay, so let us say A is equal to 5, B is equal to 6. So if A is greater than B, then what should I do? Huh? I will print A is greater than B. Okay, else almost self-explanatory. Okay, if this is true, then you should do this. Then is not required in this language. Okay, there is no then. If it is automatically understood that the next line after the colon is going to be a then, means if this is true, then do this. Okay, it is understood. Else is explicitly defined. Okay, so else print B is, मैं जो कह रहा था मैंने उल्टा वो कर दिया. Anyway, that's all right. So B is greater than A. Okay, now if I run this program, what is the answer? The output you can see over there. B is greater than A. Okay, again this is interesting but not really that interesting. We have made a big thing today. Okay, we have let the program make a decision for us. Okay, it is choosing means based on, so this is called as decision making. Okay, or branching. Okay, there are two branches of the code. Now there are two branches of the code. If के बाद जो statement लिखा हुआ है, okay, print A is greater than B. Okay, that is one branch, and the second branch is else. So if you look at it, your code, this particular code only goes to line number 6. It only executes line number 6. It never reaches line number 4. Line number 4 is only reached or read when the condition is true. In this case, that condition is not true, so it only goes to the line corresponding to else. Okay, is that all right? So VS Code is automatically going to handle the indent. So this is called as indent. Let me write this down, or maybe I can write it over here. Okay, it's an indent. जो space है ना यहाँ पर, this space is called as an indent. VS Code automatically handles it for you, but if you were to write it in any other text editor which does not know what the syntax of Python is, then you have to give space in the beginning over here. Okay, because it is telling that this code is a subcode of the previous line. Okay, it is dependent on the previous line, somehow dependent. Okay, so if you have used other programming languages, the brackets were doing the same role. In this case, the indent does that. And another thing is that you can have indent as long as you want, but the indent should be the same throughout your program. Okay, so if you have choosing, in this case, how many spaces we have? 4 spaces. 4 spaces are acting like an indent, so you have to have 4 spaces throughout your whole program. You can choose 2 spaces. VS Code defaults to 4 spaces, and I think Ideal also defaults to 4 spaces, but you can choose anything you want, but it has to be consistent throughout the whole program. So in some cases, now let us say that we had another number, and we wanted to see which number was the greatest. Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes to write this code on your own. You have to tell which is the greatest, which number is the middle, and which number is the smallest. Huh? No, not a quiz. But if you have already, why don't you, अगर तुमने इतनी मेहनत करी लिया है, बहुत सारे लोगों ने पेज फाड़ लिया है, so let us do it as a quiz. Write your name, roll number, and today's date. If you know what LF is, please do not use it. Okay, if anybody knows Python, probably you don't know. Uh, but if you know it, please do not use it. elif. You can only use if and else. Okay. Yeah, before that, let me also tell you about you can do this. Okay, if you like. नहीं नहीं ये भी नहीं करना यार अभी. Let us I want to teach a specific concept. Okay, no and is also not allowed. Okay, the only thing that you can use is one single condition in every if statement. Yeah. No, that is not allowed. My Python cannot see it. So his point is that can you do this? No, Python cannot read this. Okay, it can only compare between two values. Okay. Huh? No. हाँ वही करना है. You can use if else statement, and in if you can have only one condition. Okay, no and or nothing is required. Nothing is allowed. Yeah. नहीं वो कैसे कर सकते हैं हम. हाँ लगा सकते हैं वही. दैट इज द पॉइंट. ओके, द पॉइंट ऑफ दिस एक्सरसाइज इज दैट यू हैव टू यूज नेस्टेड इफ स्टेटमेंट. इफ के अंदर भी इफ आ जाएगा लेकिन बट दैट इफ स्टेटमेंट इज गोइंग टू स्टार्ट वेयर. सो इफ आई डू दिस इफ ए इज ग्रेटर देन सी तो क्या होगा. अब प्रिंट स्टेटमेंट यहाँ पर आएगा या फिर विल इट बी इंडेंटेड. It will be indented to this place. Print A is the, hold on a minute. Okay, so that is
if के अंदर if लगाने में भी indent देना पड़ता है.
yeah. So please understand that line number 5's if is going to be executed only when line number 4 is true. That is why this has to be indented. Okay, everything that has to be executed once the condition of if is true, that has to be indented. So this whole code is going to be executed only both line number 5 and 6 are going to be executed only when line number 4 is true, and line number 6 is going to be executed only when line number 5 is true. Yeah.
Sir, can I do it using 4 variables? I will assign another variable d, which is I will take it equals to 0. Then I will do if a greater than b, then d equals to a.
Okay, you could go ahead.
इसके अंदर भी हो सकता है.
हाँ कहीं पर भी if लगा सकते हो. Huh? Yeah, so then even in the previous program that I wrote, there was a constraint that I had implicitly put that A and B cannot be equal to each other. Let us assume that that is true in this case also. A, B and C are not equal to each other. Okay, none of them there is any equivalency between any of them. Okay, we are assuming that, otherwise it will become a little more complicated. ठीक है. maroon shirt. Okay, what is your name? Yeah. Huh? Kunal. Yes, Kunal. What is the condition going to be to reach line number 8? Line number 8 का मतलब क्या है? हम line number 8 पे अगर पहुंचे हैं, if we have reached line number 8, what does that mean? When can we reach line number 8? So you look at it. It's under the indent of if के उसमें है, if के block जो हमने बनाया है. Okay, there is a sub block of if which gets executed only when the first condition is true. Okay, what is that first condition? A is greater than B. So the first thing is that A is greater than B. Otherwise, we will not execute anything in line number 5, 6, 7, 8, anything. Okay, so to reach line number 8, this condition has to be true. A is greater than B. What is the second condition that is true for us to reach line number 8? Huh? Speak louder, yaar. C is greater than? C is greater than? B क्यों? ये B तो कंपेयर ही नहीं किया हमने. C is greater than A. Okay. So these two conditions are true for us to reach line number 8. अब हमें क्या करना चाहिए? So we know that A is greater than B and C is greater than A. So ये हो गया. ठीक है? Is that true? Then only we will reach line number 8. C is greater than A is greater than B. So let us not do this. Let us change this slightly. We can say print C is greater than A is greater than B. Okay, so let us make another change here. If A is greater than C, now we want to establish, we only want to print once we know the full answer. Okay, we only want to print at that time, like I have done over in line number 8. ठीक है, इसी टाइप का आउटपुट देना है. Again, C is greater than A is greater than B is a what? String. So it doesn't really matter what is written inside. Python is going to print it as it is. Okay, there is no brain going to be applied by Python to understand what is going on inside. It is just a string which we have found out by establishing the various conditions that are required to reach that particular statement. Okay, we will reach line number 8 only when A is greater than B and C is greater than A. Okay, so we can write that. But at line number 6, we are only sure of two things. We are sure of that A is greater than B and A is greater than C. But we do not know the dichotomy between B and C. Okay, so for that, what do we need? We need another if statement which is going to compare between B and C. Okay, so if B is greater than C, we are going to print A is greater than B is greater than C. Okay, what about else over here? When can we reach line number 9 now? यार बताओ, when can we reach line number 9? When A is greater than B and A is greater than C and C is greater than B. Only then can we reach line number 9. Okay, so we are going to say that A is greater than C is greater than B. ठीक है? Is that all right? Now, when will we reach line number 13? When will we reach line number 13? बताओ, what's your name? मेरे जैसे बाल. गौरव. Yes, गौरव. बताओ. मतलब ज़्यादा हैं बहुत सारे, लेकिन गौरव. When will we reach line number 13? Under what circumstances? Please understand that you don't have to read anything between line number 5 and 11. You don't have to even read it, because that gets executed only when the first condition is true. B is greater than A. Good. Okay. So now if B is greater than A, okay, we will reach line number 13 only when B is greater than A. So what is established when we are at line number 13? That B is greater than A, but we do not know anything about the relationship between A and C and B and C. Okay. So what do we do? We first check for, let us say, A and C. Okay. Now when do we reach line number 14? B is greater than A and A is greater than C. So what can we say? B, A, C. Okay. B is greater than A is greater than C. So we can directly print it. Print B is greater than A is greater than C. Else, when do we reach line number 16? When B is greater than A and C is also greater than A. Okay, so we have two conditions. B is greater than A. Okay, B is greater than A and C is greater than A. Okay, but that doesn't tell you anything about between B and C. तो उसके लिए हमें फिर से एक if statement लगाना पड़ेगा. Okay, do you all agree? We only note these two things. We do not know what is the actual relation between B and C. So we'll check for whether B is greater than C. If B is greater than C, we can print that B is greater than C is greater than A. Else print C is greater than B is greater than A. Okay. So if you look at whatever we are printing between line number 14 and 19, all of them have what in common? B is greater than A. ठीक है, हमारा original branch वहीं से starting हुई थी ना. Original branching happened based on whether A was greater than B or B was greater than A. So in the second if in the else part, everything is B is greater than A. ठीक है, you all understand it? Everywhere B is greater than A. In the line number 17 also B is greater than A. In line number 14 also B is greater than A. What about the others? The if part? In all of these three statements, line number 7, 9 and 11, A is greater than B, A is greater than B, A is greater than B. Okay. So now if I run it, the answer comes out to be C is greater than B is greater than A. Obviously we have made a big assumption here that none of the numbers can be equal to each other. Okay. So which is not necessarily true always. So there is a mistake in that sense, that we have not considered that. That might give you errors. Okay. Why don't I do that? Okay. Do you all agree with that? We have not considered. So we have only considered that A is greater than B or B is greater than A. But else statement doesn't do that. ठीक है, else statement doesn't do that. So else जब हमने line number 12, ठीक है, anything that is within line number 12 means in the else block, let us call these as blocks, ठीक है, else block में line number 13 से लेकर end तक है, when is that going to be executed? Tell me. When B is greater than or equal to A. ठीक है, जब B equal to A होगा तो भी line number 13 पे पहुंच जाएंगे हम. ठीक है. When B is going to be equal to A, then also we will reach line number 13. So let us assume that this code is written as it is, and let us say that the three numbers are, let us say this is true, 6, 6 and 8. ठीक है. So I'll give you a couple of minutes to figure it out. What is the answer going to be in this case? No, please do not answer. I'll let everybody think. Yeah, I'll come to your question in a moment, but let everybody think. So this is the question right now, that whatever the code is written on the board, please tell me what the exact output of your code is going to be based on that A is 6, B is 6 and C is 8. Is that okay? And please also write down the sequence of line numbers that are being executed. Okay, that is more important. Please write down which lines are executed throughout the whole program. Okay, only write down the numbers separated by commas. So line number 1, comma 2, comma 3, whatever, whichever lines are executed at all, even once. Line number 1 is definitely going to be executed because it is not dependent on any conditions. Okay, so as soon as you run the program, 1 is going to run, 2 is going to run, 3 is going to run. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 should be your starting. Then line number 4 has to run. Okay, because based on that only line numbers 5 to 11 get executed, or line numbers 13 to 19 get executed. Yeah. Do you think line number 1 is going to be executed irrespective of whatever happens as soon as you run the program? 2, 3. Now what happens in line number 4? It checks for a condition. So if that condition is true, then what happens? Line number 5 to 11 get executed. If that is not true, then it goes to line number 12. Okay, 12 is an else statement. Now everything beyond 12 gets executed. Not everything, again there are conditions there also, so based on what those conditions are, it is going to be.
सर अभी की इक्वालिटी का केस तो नहीं लेना,
नहीं नहीं नहीं, exactly इसी का आउटपुट लिखना है तुम्हें. Output as well as the sequence of line numbers which are executed.
एल्स के अंदर एल्स नहीं
else के अंदर else नहीं
आ सकता,
आ सकता.
एल्स में एक तो कंडीशन हो गई,
else एक ही बार हो सकता है बस.
तो लाइक
There is another statement which I have not mentioned till now, which is elif. You can give extra conditions in an else.
लाइक बिकॉज इफ ए ग्रेटर देन बी हो गया, फिर एक कंडीशन होगी ए बराबर बी, और एक कंडीशन ये भी तो लिखनी चाहिए ना कि ए.
हाँ लिखनी चाहिए लेकिन हमने लिखी नहीं है, वही तो पॉइंट है इस उसका. So the reason we did not write that is because I didn't want to make the code too long. Okay, because we had to consider many conditions. But I am trying to show you here what the problem with the way we have written the code is. Okay, because we are not considering a very important and likely scenario that two numbers are equal to each other. Okay, so let us see what happens. So line numbers 1 to 3 get executed irrespective because they are not under any conditionals. Okay, these are called as conditionals. There is no condition anywhere. We go to line number 4. Line number 4 says if A is greater than B. Is A greater than B? It's not. Okay, it may be equal to B, but it's not greater than B. So the if is not, the condition within if is not met. So what happens? The control gets transferred to line number 12, else statement. Else का जो first line है, line number 13, which says is A greater than C. Is it? No. Then we go to else. ठीक है. If line number 15. Now line number 16 gets executed if B is greater than C. Is B greater than C? No. Then we go to else, which is line number 18. Okay, 18 says print C is greater than B is greater than A. ठीक है. So the output of this is going to be again जो पहले था वही आएगा मुझे लगता है, C is greater than B is greater than A, which is not correct. Okay, it is not correct. B is not greater than A. B is equal to A. Okay, so there was a problem in our code which we did not consider a very important and likely condition that these two numbers, two of these three numbers could be equal to each other. Okay, so the next part of your quiz is, let us make all of them equal. Huh? मतलब बता सकता है लेकिन हमने नहीं बताया उसको. The way we have written the program, we have assumed that there are only no numbers can be equal to each other. ये हमारी गलती है, उसकी गलती नहीं है, उसने सही काम किया सारा. ठीक है ना, जो हमने एक्सपेक्ट किया था वही आंसर दिया ना उसने, तो बहुत सही है ना. फिर जो हमने उसको प्रोग्राम किया उसने उतना ही काम किया. So please understand that. Her point is, why is the program not showing an error? Why should it show an error? The way we have programmed it, it's working fine. We could predict what the answer is going to be based on the program that we have written. There is our mistake as a programmer that we did not consider a condition that was important. Okay, there was a possibility that A could be equal to B, and I have made an even bigger constraint I have put in where all three numbers are equal to each other. Okay, now same ही आएगा. Why? Because let us start with line number 4. Is A greater than B? No. We go to line number 12. Is A greater than C? No. Yeah. Line number 15. Else. Yeah. 16 पे जाएंगे. Is B greater than C? No. Then else. Then again C is greater than B is greater than A. Okay, which is obviously not correct. It is correct as far as the program is concerned, the way we have written it, but it is not correct as far as what our intent was. Our intent is different from what we wrote over here. Okay, because we put an implicit constraint in our program that A is not greater than A, and B and C, none of these three numbers, any 2 or 3 can be equal to each other. Okay, so your homework exercise is to, so this is your assignment number 1. This is due on Wednesday midnight. Okay, I'll set up on Teams. Some of you have not signed up on Teams. I have already approved your request today morning for those whoever tried to join Teams, but there are only 80 people who have joined Teams till now. So the remaining 30-35 people, please join Teams based on the link that I have sent you. And if you have any problems, you can talk to the TAs tomorrow or take help from each other. Okay. Installing and logging into Teams is not an issue. Okay, you can take help from each other. Okay, so assignment number 1 is going to be, please let me call this assignment number, मैंने 1 लिखा हुआ है but it is 0.5. Okay, I don't want to give it 0, but let me call it 0 as well. Okay, assignment number 0, please write this program removing this problem. If A is equal to B, the output should be so the output for this code should be A is equal to B is equal to C. That is what it should write. Okay, it should not give you C is greater than B is greater than A. Okay, हाँ if or else को use करके करना है. ठीक है, only in this way. ठीक है. Yeah. One thing that I want to add is that you can use elif. ठीक है, elif क्या करता है? एक दो लाइन कम हो जाती तुम्हारी इस कोड में. ठीक है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल लेट अस ट्राई चेंजिंग दिस कोड. ठीक है, ठीक है, एक एल्स स्टेटमेंट बच गया. ठीक है, elif is not necessarily required. Most probably the first language that I learned was basic. Basic didn't have any elif or anything. Okay, it was only if else. Then भी लिखते थे उसमें basic में. Anybody has used basic? है ICSE? ओके, मैं भी ICSE से हूँ. अभी भी चल रही है बेसिक तुम लोगों की? और कोई नहीं है ICSE में? बेसिक नहीं था? ओके, so I think they changed. Anyway, that's it's not important. Let us. So what happens in this case? What happens in this case? If line number 4 is not true, ठीक है? If line number 4 is not true, what is it going to do? It is going to line number 12. In line number 12, it's an else statement instead of an else statement. What does it do? It gets executed only when line number 4 is not true. Okay, but anything in the that is within the indent, within the block of elif statement gets executed only when that elif statement is true. ठीक है, तो अगर इस केस में देखें हम, तो let us change this slightly. A is greater than B. Okay, let us look at this scenario. So, is A greater than B in this case? Is A greater than B? What's your name? Prisha. Yes, Prisha. Is A greater than B? Look at it. No, don't worry about it. I just want you to pay attention, that's all. Is A greater than B? It's not. So, what happens? It goes to line number 12. Okay? In line number 12, we have another if condition. But this is associated with L. Okay, this if condition is associated with an else, means else if put together is elif. Okay, so this is associated with dependent on even checking for this condition is dependent on whether line number 4 is true or not. If line number 4 were true, then it would not even go there. Okay, it would not even consider it. Whether that is true or not, it doesn't matter. This line 12 gets executed only when line number 4 is not true. Okay. Only then does that get executed. Now if you look at line number 12, it says elif is A greater than C? It is. So it prints B is greater than A is greater than C. What about line number 14 and beyond? It will not even get read. Why? Because one of the if or elif has been true. Okay? So if you have a block of if, elif, else, a block, then only one of these 3 blocks is going to get executed. Okay? Only one of these 3 gets executed at once. Okay? Is that all right? Do you all understand what elif means? Yeah.
Please explain once again that what is the difference between if we write if and else and both combined elif? What is the
Again, in this case, it is saving you one line in this particular program. The way I have changed it. Previously, so else के अंदर हमने क्या दिया था? The first line was if. ठीक है, but in this case, वो else और if को हमने combine कर दिया sort of. Yeah, it means you can. So that's what I was telling you when I was talking about basic. There was no elif in basic, but we could write any code that we wanted. So it is only saving you a couple of lines in some cases. Okay, so you can either choose to use it or not use it. It's up to you. Okay, you can write a fully functional code with just if else statements. Okay, elif is not necessarily required, but it sometimes makes your life a little bit easier. Okay, so for example, if you were to have let us say you wanted to write a code based on whether your input was between 1 and 10. Okay, if your input is between 1 and 10, if it is 1, then do something. If it is 2, then do something else. If it is 3, then do something else. अगर तुम if else करके लिखते तो क्या होता? बहुत मुश्किल होता. But if elif से it is going to be very very easy. ठीक है. Now there is one more thing that I want to mention is equality of numbers. If you want to check whether 2 numbers are equal to each other or not. ठीक है. तो अभी तक हम already ये कर चुके हैं. We have already seen this. A is equal to 3. What is this doing? It is assigning 3 to A. Okay, it is assigning the value 3 to A. Now if you wanted to check whether A was 3 or not, okay, if A were 3 or not, what do? You have to do a comparison. So for comparison again we use equal to, but we use a double equal to. Okay, double equal to is tells you that you are trying to do a comparison between A and 3. Okay, if this is going to be true, then it is going to output true. Okay, so another data type that I am going to tell you right now is Boolean. Okay, this kind of data type is called as Boolean. Okay, so the input to if statement, जो if statement के साथ जो हमने लगाया था, what is that? That's a Boolean. Okay, for example, if I do A is greater than 2, what is the answer going to be? True again. Okay, A is less than 2 is going to be false. Okay, now there is another operator that we use, exclamation equal to. What do you think that is going to be? Not equal to. Okay, so if I give A is not equal to 3, what should be the answer? False, because A is equal to 3. Okay, so these are comparison operators which when used are going to give you a Boolean output. Okay, so if you look at this, any argument to your if statement is a Boolean value. ठीक है, A is greater than B, it's a Boolean, it is going to give a Boolean output. ठीक है, वो उसमें हो रहा है, but so I could very well write this. Okay, so what does that mean? What is this going to do? I have written here if true. This is perfectly valid Python I have written, although it is not very useful Python, because if true means, is if true going to be true? Means is this part getting executed here? Yes, so in this case only line number 5 through 11 get executed. Okay, always, because if statement में मैंने क्या डाल दिया? True डाल दिया, वो हमेशा true होगा. ठीक है, so please, and there is a reason I am telling you this is because A greater than B is a Boolean. ठीक है, तो जो argument of the if statement is a Boolean. ठीक है, whatever can generate a Boolean can be an argument of if. ठीक है, so let me show you another statement which is and. तुम लोगों ने वो पढ़ा होगा, क्या कहते हैं, लॉजिक गेट्स और व्हाटएवर. ठीक है, तो तुम्हें पहली बार तुम शायद इसको प्रैक्टिकली यूज़ कर रहे होगे. सो व्हेन यू हैव एंड ऑफ टू स्टेटमेंट्स, ठीक है, लेट अस से दिस A is not equal to 3 and A is equal to 3. It is always going to be false because one of these two is going to be true. ठीक है, so इसका आउटपुट देखोगे तुम क्या आएगा? False. ठीक है, now if instead of this I had given now greater than or equal to, मैथ्स में तो greater than equal to साथ में होता है, तेरे तुम्हारे कीबोर्ड में तुम देखोगे तो तुम ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता, there is no such symbol, so we use the next best thing, greater than equal to. Okay, equal to greater than is not allowed, greater than equal to is not how we write. ठीक है, first write the greater than sign, then equal to sign. So what the statement is, A is not equal to 3 and A is greater than or equal to 3. Okay, what is this going to give me? And means that both conditions have to be true. Is A not equal to 3? No, false. A is greater than or equal to 3 is true, but false and true is going to give you false. ठीक है, now I could also do an OR. ठीक है, OR में दोनों में से एक भी कंडीशन ट्रू हो जाए, then we can do that. Okay, so if में तुम कोई भी boolean function डाल सकते हो, including any of the and or whatever statements you want. ठीक है, is that all right? Any questions? कौन से? छोड़ो, अभी यही दोनों कर लो. ठीक है, एंड और इज सफिशिएंट फॉर नाउ. या
जो आपको वो उसमें चीज से भेजना है वो ऐसे लिख के भेजना है या फिर स्क्रीनशॉट भेज सकते हैं?
लैपटॉप से प्लीज स्क्रीनशॉट इज फाइन, फोटोग्राफ्स आर नॉट ओके. You are computer or electronics engineers. You should know how to take a screenshot on your computers, please. तुम लोग इतने लेजी हो गए हो यार कि तुम उस पर स्क्रीनशॉट प्रिंट स्क्रीन बटन नहीं दबाना चाहते. एंड इट्स रियली शेम्स मी जब तुम लोगों को मैं देखता हूँ कि तुम लोगों ने फ़ोटो लगा रखी है फ़ोन से, उसको क्रॉप करके तुमने इतनी मेहनत करी है, एक स्क्रीनशॉट लेना नहीं आता तुम लोगों को. Please learn how to take a screenshot on your PC, on your Mac or whatever you use, Linux. ठीक है, please learn how to take screenshots, but that is not required either. I'm going to ask you to submit. There are two things that you are going to submit. You're going to submit the code. Okay, code की .py file submit करोगे. ठीक है, you can submit your py file and you're going to submit a screenshot of this bottom portion. ठीक है, केवल इतना ही पार्ट का तुम्हें स्क्रीनशॉट लेना है. If you want to know the shortcut in Windows, it is Windows button plus Shift plus S. Okay, it opens up the snipping tool. ठीक है, और जैसे ही तुम it creates a square sort of symbol जो तुम्हारे Call of Duty वाला जो क्रॉस हेयर होता है उस टाइप का. ठीक है, तो तुम यहाँ से वहाँ तक खींचोगे. तो you start from here and take it here, then Control C, copy automatically हो जाता है. Just do Control V and it is going to be saved in your Word file or whatever you want to save it in. ठीक है, हाँ हाँ और क्या. Yeah, you'll upload it on Teams. I'll create an assignment. Okay, so that's why it is assignment number 0. It doesn't have too many marks, but it teaches you to write a code and submit an assignment. Okay, this is going to be due on Wednesday midnight. Okay, so it should not take you more than 10 minutes to write the code. But anyway, whatever time it takes, even if it takes 2 hours, you'll learn something. Okay, okay, I'll see you on Thursday then. Yeah. What do you think? So there is an hold on. There's an important question, sort of important. She is asking whether we can have elif statement after the if statement. After the else statement, sorry. After the else. No, else is the nuclear option. What does nuclear option mean? That if none of these work, then do this. Okay, but you can, so please understand that you can choose not to have else statement at all. ठीक है, else नहीं भी डालो तो भी कोई परेशानी नहीं है. ठीक है, you can choose not to have else. ठीक है, only if you want to do something, if something is true, then that is also enough. ठीक है, you can have only if followed by a block of code and that's all. Then you move back to the normal indent. ठीक है? Okay, that's all right. Yeah, please submit. Yeah, you can use that. You can use any of the statements that I have talked about today. If, elif, and, or, you can use in your assignment. ठीक है? बता चुका हूँ 3 बार. Please submit your quizzes here.